Hello, my divinities. Welcome. So this is going to be the readings for the air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. That's who we're preparing the space for. Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo has already been done. So if you have earth sign in your chart, technically we all have all 12, but I know a lot of you focus on whether it's your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign. So if you have those in earth signs like Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, go check those out. They've already been uploaded. All right. So let's get started. What is the advice or energy for Libra? We've got Calendula, purity, and 46, Angel's trumpet, death. Interesting. What's the energy for Aquarius? We've got number 9, chamomile, inner peace. The other energy for Aquarius is 15, yarrow, harmony. Okay. All right. And Gemini. What's the energy for Gemini? We've got number 43, passion flowers, surrender. And number 40, ginseng, magician. Okay. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, Libra. So we're going to start with Calendula, number 1, purity. By the way, I am pretty sure these two cards already came out in the earth signs. I just don't remember which one because I did all 3. So, Calendula. There we go. Upright, it represents innocence, childlike joy, humility, purity, new beginnings, trusting in life, and vitality. Reversed is broken innocence, lack mindset, inability to access manifestation, resistance to new beginnings. And it's ruled by the sun. Historically, Calendula was known as poor man's saffron, as it was used to add color and flavor to foods in place of the more expensive spice. Calendula petals are also added to salads and used as a dye for fabric and hair. From infusions to extracts to ointments, folk medicine healers in Europe prepared a wide array of healing remedies and foods with calendula. Its petals were used to induce menstrual flow, produce sweat during fevers, and cure jaundice. 19th century physicians used calendula to treat viruses, stomach ulcers, liver issues, and skin infections. Traditionally, because of its astringent and anti-inflammatory powers, it was also used externally to treat burns, bruises, and wounds, and to help stop bleeding. Guidance. Calendula resembles the sun, a radiant, bright yellow or orange flower. It grows easily and spreads its joyful self across gardens, symbolizing the gesture of universal abundance. Solar herbs are those that neutralize poison and air in the recuperation of vital forces. Calendula's gentle and abundant power reminds us of the realms of light. To be allowed entry within these angelic realms requires childlike innocence and humility. Don't allow pain from the past to disable your ability to dream a new life. Calendula represents the pure impulse to create. Vitality and creativity needed to step into a new journey. The radiance of Calendula is a superconductor. Be very aware and selective with your intentions when using her energy within a ritual, as she greatly amplifies your intentions. Interesting. And then number 46. Number 46, Angel's trumpet, death. Upright, it represents breakdown, cathartic transformation, rising from the ashes, elimination, death, shedding the old. Reversed, it represents ignoring the call, mental and emotional crisis, illusion, shattered, refusing reality. Astrological rulers, Pluto and Mars. Angel's trumpets have an intoxicating scent and flowers that resemble angelic horns aimed downward, symbolizing the call of the angels to humanity. Plants in the Brugmansia genus and relatives like daturas have a rich history of use among shamans and magic practitioners, even though they are poisonous. Some South American indigenous groups like the Kamsa, Jíbaro, and Ingano initiate their children at a young age into the path of curanderismo, becoming a healer, by ingesting Angel's trumpet during a flower ceremony. Jíbaro boys who walk the shamanic path are given the medicine at the age of 6 to acquire an external vision-producing soul that lets them communicate with ancestors called Arutam Wakani. Boys and their fathers go on long pilgrimages to sacred waterfalls where they engage in sacred bathing, fasting, and drinking of tobacco water. Then the angel's trumpet juice is ingested to effect contact with the supernatural, during which the Arutamwakani appears as jaguars and anacondas and enters the boys' bodies. Curanderos, or healers within many traditions, incorporate angel's trumpet into master plant brews like ayahuasca to enhance astral traveling and the spiritual experience. Other cultures around the world, including in Tibet, have also used these important poisonous plants within their practice. Many caution against the thoughtless use of brugmansia and datura, which can be severely toxic and cause the kind of strong hallucinations and delirium that only experienced shamans should use for divination and healing. The guidance. Angel's trumpet signals a time of catharsis or death. A deep emotional breakdown is due or near. You may feel lost in your own emotional despair, depression, shame, or unworthiness, but know the angels of discernment and darkness are here to support you. Coming eye to eye with the darkest feelings within yourself catalyzes the greatest awakening. Deeply pause, let go of control, and witness the broken pieces within yourself with loving awareness. The medicine of the bat symbolizes the need for a ritualistic death of relations, situations, or aspects of life. Bat, like angel's trumpet, signals a catharsis and rebirth, signaling literal or metaphysical death of old patterns and worn-out habits. Understand that you can reconstruct at any time, regardless of how shattered you might feel. Ooh, that's intense, Libra. That's intense. But I do feel like you're going to be helped. Whatever deep transformation you're going through, you will be helped to restore the vitality within yourself. So, keeping these in mind, let's go slowly, one card at a time. What's the energy for Libra? What's the energy for Libra? Ooh, for sure, for sure, there are some intense endings for you, Libra. Seven of Vessels is literally called mourning because in this deck, this is almost like the Ten of Swords. It's the release of the old. It's mourning it, grieving it, but also letting it go. And look, these mirror exactly what we just read. The Sun of Life, Calendula, and Seven of Vessels, the Angel's Trumpet, Death. How fascinating. Okay, so let's see. Clarify the Seven of Cups. We've got the Four of Pentacles, with the Fool. Clarify the Seven of Cups and the Empress. Fascinating. With the Ace of Cups. So I feel like this is a portal. Anytime an ace comes up, this is a divine gift. Excuse me, I'm choking on my own spit. But the fact that it's the Ace of Cups, this feels like a very spiritual portal opening up for you. An internal, well, not internal. I feel like it is internal, but it's also like in the spiritual realm. And you're sitting here weighing the pros and cons of stepping into this portal. I know I've said this before, but this card always, just the way the wolves are sitting here guarding, the way there's like a ceremonial feel to it, the way this person is sitting or lying down, it always makes me feel astral projection. But it could also be somebody who's like doing, I don't know, lucid dreaming, maybe self-hypnosis. Like you're afraid of whatever this is. Because you're sitting here like, no, I couldn't possibly. And yet, like, almost like there's an ability you have that you're telling yourself, I haven't been able to tap into this ability. I don't know why. And you can, as soon as you release your fear. But it's definitely a spiritual gift of some, look, Queen of Swords, you already have the ability or the way. You already have the knowledge to do so. But you're holding on to your comfortability. You're holding on. The Four of Pentacles, this isn't so much about money. It's more like you're comfortable being a certain way. Whatever this is requires you stepping out of your comfort zone. Look, somebody who's about to step onto thin air. This card, this energy always reminds me of, what was it? Indiana Jones. I forgot which one of the Indiana Jones movies, but remember when he steps out onto the ledge and then he catches himself and he realizes there's an invisible beam there. I feel like the universe is like, there's an invisible beam or walkway, but you need to trust enough to step onto that. And I don't know, with the Empress here, this is it's going to lead you towards a very bountiful time. If you notice, this same horned cow showed up in the Eight of Swords. Although this looks a little bit more like a horned bull. So maybe this has to do with coming into union with someone or within yourself, bringing, the masculine and the feminine within yourself. Either way, I feel like this isn't as bad as you feel like it is. This is a calling. You're being called. And although there is a release of something, I don't feel like it's as bad as this change, this death isn't as dramatic as you're kind of making it out to be. I'm a level with you, Libra. Let's see. What else does Libra need to know? Page of Stones, links. This energy came out with Virgo. So I don't know if I'm talking to Libras that have Virgo placements. Four of Vessels. Oh, okay. Okay. So whatever this is, I'm going to give you a similar message that I gave Virgo. For you, it's a little bit more lighthearted, just because of the energy that's here. But you're very good. Like whatever this is, you're already touching on you're already clever and quick with it. But you're still a student. And there are guides, there are angels that are trying to help you go further. Oh, look. And in this one, the angel is depicted with the same horns that the cow and the bull had. So I'm telling you, there's some sort of guidance you're receiving. But almost like you only go so far. With the Four of Cups, you're like, no, thank you. This is as far as I go. I'm already good at this level. I don't need to go further. And they're just like, step up. Come on. You don't need to stay stuck there. Whatever this ability is, you're barely at the Page of Stones level. If you just surrender, if you just allow this change to occur, you will go further. Let's see. Clarify Page of Stones. What is this? King of Wands. Ace of Swords. Holy shit, the Emperor. Look, I told you that there was the cow and the bull. And now we got the literal bull energy along with like buck energy. See, okay. Usually the Seven of Pentacles is not this to me, but in this deck, it's very much becoming the containment card. So you're containing yourself. You are allowing yourself to only go so far, because if you know about plants, you know that when you put a plant inside of a pot, the pot becomes a protection to the plant, and it also becomes a blockage to the plant. It means that just like a fish tank, the plant will only grow as long as the pot allows it to. Once it hits the limits of the pot, it can't grow any further. And if it does, it'll die. Because it'll have the roots will get too big and there won't be enough nutrients for all of them. And so I feel like you've set this circle of protection around yourself Like, this is as far as I go. I'm going to tend to myself here in this space. And that's it. I don't plan on going any further. But whatever this is, it requires a very masculine approach. And masculine as in the King of Wands. I don't see it in this picture. I'm trying to find the salamander. Okay, so this King of Wands does not have a salamander, interestingly enough. So usually in any tarot, the King of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Wands are surrounded by salamanders. Like they're decked in salamanders because the salamander represents protection from fire. So you're being told, take a risk. Even if the salamander isn't here, you are protected from fire. You will be protected when you take this risk. You have heavy guardianship. Whoever this Empress is and whoever the Emperor are, I feel like these are spirits. For some of you, you're being protected by feminine spirits. By others, you're being protected by masculine spirits. And then for others, you're being protected by both. So this is whoever is your guide, because this feels like guide energy. Whoever your guides are, I feel like they've been inviting you for some time. Keep in mind, this is the second ace to come out. You already had an Ace of Cups. Now you're getting an Ace of Swords. So you have been hearing the call very clearly. Whoever this guide is that's trying to call you over into this, whatever this is somebody who they're the leader in this thing. So I'm trying to think how I can, like if maybe you've always wanted to do astrology and you're being called to do astrology, whoever this guide is, they were like the father or the mother of astrology. They created a whole industry. And so this is the spirit guide that knows the most about whatever it is you're trying to do. This is somebody who has this raw, primal, I am the Alpha and the Omega, but not like, Jewish God level, but like when it comes to this, they are the beginning and they are the end in this thing. They want to share this knowledge with you, but it requires a leap of faith. It requires you trusting them. And so far, you're not interested. You're very much like, I'm going to stay within my little space here and do as I please. And then, then we'll talk about it. But you're not really interested in talking about it. I just feel like the way this is going, it's going to happen anyways. And it's more like you're being told you can either do this the easy way or you can do this the hard way, Libra. What else does Libra need to know? Ooh, 3 of Arrows. With the Seer. See, this has something to do with spiritual gifts. So I don't know if it has to do with scrying, or I don't know if it has to do with something shamanic, but you have some wounds connected to spirituality on some level. So I don't know if you're raised in like a really religious home or in a very atheistic home, maybe the opposite, but whatever it is, there's some deep-seated wounds here connected to your spiritual gifts. And so you're being very resistant to this calling because like a piece of you you don't want to face this. You don't want to, I'm trying to think how to put it. You don't want to have to figure out why you're so resistant. You just know that you don't want to do it. Clarify 3 of Swords. 9 of Cups. Did I not say, I feel like this is going to happen anyway. The Tower. Hermit. Page of Wands, Page of Swords, Six of Wands. Okay, so I feel like you're on a little bit of a similar storyline as Virgo. Slightly different, but similar. So the reason that this is going to happen no matter what is because you're actually heading straight for this. So let me put it to you like this. Imagine that you're over here. This is you, right? You're sitting here pretending you're all tied up. Your eyes are bound. You're bound. Your eyes are blindfolded. But the swords that are surrounding you are actually not containing you, even though you pretend that they are. You're sitting here like, oh, I couldn't possibly do this. You don't understand. I'm bound. When you can unbind yourself at any time. You can release this at any time. But you are the one that's binding yourself. Nobody else. And you're walking in the direction of a pool of water. Why? Because you have been manifesting a refreshing swim. But with your eyes blindfolded, you're about to fall into the swimming pool. And your guides are like, hello, if you would listen to me, I'm trying to wake you up. Take the blindfold off. You need to prepare for the dive you're about to take. And you're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm manifesting a swimming pool, but I will never fall into the swimming pool. But you will, because you're not paying attention. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So it will feel like a plunge into something unexpected, but because you're headed in that direction, and it's actually something you want. This is a wish come true. Okay, I'm trying to think how else to put this. Almost, okay, so let's say you were manifesting a swimming pool, you have this feeling that you'll just know how to swim when the manifestation happens. You'll be like, it's okay, because once I, find the pool, I will magically know how to swim because I've been manifesting the pool. And your guides are like, that's not how it works. This is a very deep pool. You are going to struggle if you don't listen. And you continue walking, but you're also not listening. And they're like, oh, okay. I mean, honestly, I feel like your guides are being very patient. They're being very patient with you. Because they don't want you to end up traumatized, which I don't think it'll be that bad because this is something good ultimately. It's something you want. But they don't want to be blamed whenever you're plunged into ice cold water because you are going to be like, oh, my guides are putting me through this. No. They're like, don't blame me. You did this. I was trying to help you. Okay. What else does Libra need to know? So let's say, okay, I'm trying to think of different scenarios outside of a swimming pool. Let's say you're trying to manifest a job, just as an example. But you have not figured out, like, let's say you don't have a car. You have not figured out how you're going to get to and from your job. You haven't figured out what clothes you're going to be wearing. Like, you're trying to manifest this high profile career, and you keep visualizing all the nice, offices you're going to work in and your salary, what a great employee you're going to be, but you have not figured out how you're going to get to the office. You haven't figured out if the call comes tomorrow, what are you going to wear? You don't have any of the clothes that you're visualizing in your head yet. You haven't gone out to get it. Like, it's not that you lack money, but maybe you just haven't taken the steps to match the image in your head. So you are manifesting this, but once it happens, you're not prepared because you're not taking the steps that they're pushing you to take. Let's see. Oh. And they're going to turn around and blame your guides, and they're like, oh, no. We've been trying to wake you up. We've been trying to get you to take off the damn blindfold, but you're too scared of the unknown, and you just keep ignoring us. Okay, let's start with this one first. King of Vessels, King of Cups energy. The hair on, what did I tell you? Ten of Bows, responsibility. Whatever it is you're asking for, whatever the wish is, responsibility comes with that wish. And you're the ideal person for this. You're showing up as the King of Cups. So you have the right qualifications, but almost like you're leaning really hard on the qualifications and not really doing the work. Not really doing the work. Okay, so I went to go look up this card because I was like, there's something I'm missing here. And I'm going to read this to you because I think that this is who you are. This is what you represent. And at the same time, this is who your guides are to you. But look, check this out. It says, greeting the dawn, often alone, the heron is reputed to be gifted with psychic perception and reflection. The guardian of many esoteric secrets, it is said to stand at the gateway between life and death and to act as mediator on the soul's journey to the Celtic otherworld and reincarnation. Reading points, which just has a general energy. A deep belief in fairness, honesty, and honor colors everything you do. The profound depths of your character, once stirred into action, carry all before it. However, your admiration of self-control can sometimes make you appear too rigid. That's where you're at. As a person, it could be a way shower and mentor whose tolerance gives him or her a peaceful demeanor. Did I not just say your guides are being very patient? You have a very patient guide right now. Very often, they are the catalysts that help groups to gel, for they give a place to each individual. Their consideration of others derives from an innate compassion, can also be weak or ineffectual or inclined to milk situations for pity. So, I feel like right now, this is where you're at. And at the same time, this is where your guides are at. You are the way shower to other people. You are a catalyst, a mediator in some way for other people. And your guides are now being a mediator for you. You are now going to the next level in some way. And I think because you are the way shower, because you are the catalyst, the guardian of esoteric secrets, you're kind of trusting where you're at way too much without realizing that you're about to jump a level. So almost think of it like this. Remember a while ago, I was using the example of the pot and the tank, a fish tank. If you put a shark as a baby shark, right, in a tank, it will only grow so much depending on the tank, depending on its environment. The bigger the tank, the bigger the shark gets. So imagine that you're a shark that's already about, I don't know, yay high. And you dominate the tank, right? Because you're the alpha, you're the shark. But you're about to get thrown in the fucking ocean. And your guides are trying to give you lessons on survival. And you're like, excuse me, I'm a motherfucking shark. I'll be fine. And they're like, well, yes, but see, we're trying to warn you that there's bigger sharks and we're trying to prepare you for that. And you're like, no need. I'm fine. When in reality, it's almost like you're terrified of finding out that there's bigger things than you out there. Let's see. Clarify the King of Vessels. Look, second time you've showed up as the Page of Pentacles, my love. Judgment. Clarify King of Vessels. What did I tell you? Yeah, Two of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Look, okay. I feel like this has something to do. This could go two different ways. Or three, actually. On one hand, this could be about a relationship. Like you could be offered a relationship and you're just like, no. When in reality, this might be a divinely guided relationship. Or if you're trying to manifest a relationship, you're not doing the work that it requires to be at your best. You're going to show up kind of raggedy to the relationship because you're not doing the work. And if it's not a relationship, this is about integrating very earthy, primal energies. of the feminine and the masculine. Because you see how the king not only has bags and mountains of, gold in front of him, he also has Pan next to him. And somebody here offering him grapes. So almost like this could go either way. Either one, you are being told to relax the rigidity around yourself a little bit. They're trying to get you in touch with your primal desires, your earthy, fertile myrtle energy. And I don't know if it's because you're trying to bring something into creation, which I think, yes, that is what it has to do, because we already saw 2 aces, right? Or if you are already somebody who's very in touch with their sensuality, they're trying to teach you to be a little bit more in self-control. One of the two. But this is about marrying yourself. If you're the second group, whether it's to become more lusty, more earthy, more primal, or less lusty, less out there, a little bit more reserved. One of the two. And the third one is that this could be spirit guides, both feminine and masculine, trying to guide you to integrating a specific aspect that would awaken a spiritual gift. And for some of you, it's all 3 situations. But again, second time you've shown up as a page. You are a student here. And because in other areas of your life you are a king, I feel like your egos get a little involved, which might have been why Calendula showed up. Like, you need to approach this with humility. You need to approach this as a child, with the innocence of a child. As in, when you tell a little kid, hey, let's go bake some cookies, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? That's what the adult is there for. You're supposed to be teaching them what a recipe is, how to measure, how to turn on the oven. That's your job, to instruct them. Just because they don't know that doesn't mean that they're stupid. They're approaching it with childlike, like, ooh, this is new. This is exciting. I don't know how to do this, but I'm open to learning, right? That's the energy you need to be in. You need to be in the energy of humility, in the energy of, that doesn't mean I'm stupid just because I don't know this. It just means it's something new, right? I'm a student in this area of life. It doesn't mean I'm like ignorant altogether. And that's how you will awaken this gift in you. But it requires surrender. It requires it requires this humble surrender. That's really what's called for here. And I feel like you're really struggling with that. Look at, so far you've shown up as 2 kings. This is why you're struggling. Okay. So you're showing up as King of Cups and King of Swords. Oh dear. And the King of Swords, or the King of Arrows, is the expert. They are the expert. So you're in this energy of like, bitch, what are you going to teach me? When in reality, whatever this is, it is something new. So think of it like this. Imagine that you're this world-renowned chef, right? And so your spirit guides are trying to teach you the cuisine of an alien world. And you're sitting here like, excuse me, I'm a world-renowned chef. I don't need your puny little lessons on alien cuisine, okay? If you put the alien instruments in front of me, I'll probably figure out how to do it. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. In fact, let's go look at the King of Arrows so that you get a better idea of where you're coming from when it comes to your little ego and why you're struggling with this. This is so fascinating because this is the kingfisher. And look at what it says. It says, this tiny bird, both sexes covered with the colors of the rainbow, is equally at home in the air or in the water. And you show up as a king of air, king of water. Isn't that fascinating? With its remarkable ability to dive into the water and catch fish, the kingfisher has been symbolic of ancient wisdom and lore for centuries. So it says, you may need to exercise judgment, power, force of will. The king is impartial. and helps you to see clearly what you no longer need to hold on to. Use your strength to cut yourself free of what weighs you down. As a person, and this is what you're showing up as, right? Articulate and just. This is someone who is a moral leader who upholds standards. Impartiality and justice are his or her trademark. His knowledge and research are of the highest quality. His highly principled discernment sees to the heart of things. A friend who gives you perspective. Someone who can quantify or assess a situation precisely. Discerning the truth of a situation. Finding a way through chaos by calm clarity. Being watchful. Good counsel. So this is who you are. And being a student, it feels very threatening to you. It feels threatening because you're like, what do you mean I don't know what this is? What do you mean I'm going to have someone else teach me? Because you're usually the teacher and now you are the student. And this is it's really getting to you. Let's see. Clarify the King of Arrows. Temperance. Look at you. Look at you, Libra. Clarify King of Arrows. The Chariot, the Five of Pentacles. And there's another ace, my darlings. So, remember when we were, okay, check this out. Underneath this, we were looking at a King of Wands, right? Whoever this Emperor guide is, they have a very fiery and yet earthy energy. And you have a very watery and airy energy. So this is like your opposite. Whoever they are, they represent your opposite. That's why it keeps coming up about blending and merging energies, which you seem to be against. Or not that you're against, you're just struggling with this concept. You're struggling with what's being asked of you because it's energy that it's not your strength, it's not your forte, and you feel like it's embarrassing you. When in reality, they're not trying to embarrass you. They are literally trying to awaken something in you that is already there. You're just not aware of it. But you're getting a little bit in your ego. Even though normally the Nine of Wands is Sagittarius moon, it's usually a very optimistic, bright, cheerful energy. Look at this. Does that look does that look bright and cheerful to you? Does that look optimistic? Hell no. She's like a wild rabbit. I dare you to approach me. You're being very combative with your guides. When in reality, they're literally, I don't know where that came from, literally, they are trying to impart knowledge. This is literally, why do I keep saying that? This is Mercury, Hermes, the messenger of the gods. He shares knowledge. He's the god of information. The messages and the information you're being given is to help you awaken what is not your strength. But if you allow it, it can become one of your strengths. So I feel like this will especially apply to two different types of Libra. For some of you, this is another person. So it could be a lover who's bringing in qualities that you don't have, but you're very, I don't know, you might see this person as a weirdo when you first meet them because they are the complete opposite to you. And for other Libras, this is about you stepping into your masculinity. Because you are Venusian, right? You're Venus ruled. You may naturally fall into your feminine energy and they're trying to awaken the masculine within you. But you feel very threatened by this. And you are getting very combative and very like, no, I don't want to do this. When it's not a threat. It's just that this requires, I feel like, it could be that they're trying to awaken in you like a really strong will. That's the masculine energy. Masculine energy is having a very strong will. Interestingly enough, you already have a will that's pretty strong because you're showing up being very stubborn. But they're like, no, this is not the thing to be stubborn over, though. You're feeling insecure because this is not your area of expertise. But we're not doing this to humiliate you or embarrass you. We're doing this to sharpen you. But because it feels burdensome, because it's not something you're used to, you're really struggling. Let's see. One more for Libra. The shaman. Nine of Arrows. You know what's so fascinating to me about this card? The Nine of Arrows is the Nine of Swords in this deck, right? And the Nine of Swords usually is a card that indicates a lot of mental anxiety, stress, being under duress, basically. And in this deck, they called it dedication. And I don't know if you can tell because the artist, I don't know, it might not be portrayed as clearly as what they're trying to intend. But when you read the description, it says that she has an energetic force field that is pushing away these other arrows from her. And to be able to get to where she's at, to be able to have the shamanic power that she has to stop arrows dead in their tracks, it took dedication. And I want to combine those two meanings, the high anxiety, stress, duress, with this meaning, because I finally, it's like something just clicked on why they represent it as dedication. Because when you are willing to go through a lot of anxiety, when you're willing to go through a lot of stress, a lot of pain for a specific subject or for a specific person, you are dedicated to it. You are choosing to focus on that. You are choosing to go through the embarrassment. So let's say, let me just give you an example. Let's say that you are going to be the bridesmaid or the maid of honor or the best man for someone, and they're doing some sort of intense choreography for their wedding, and you don't know how to dance. And you're embarrassed because you want to carry out your duties well. But at the same time, you feel like you're about to embarrass the fuck out of yourself because you are 2 left feet. And your guides are trying to push you towards dance classes, but you're like, no, because see, that embarrasses me because I don't know how to dance. Well, that's what the classes are for. That's so that you don't embarrass yourself. But because you're so triggered by how humiliating this is, that it's not your forte, you're turning down the instruction. So this could be you becoming a shaman with the shaman here, or it's about you having the power to unlock something and they're trying to instruct you. But because the instruction is difficult or it's not something you're used to, you're pushing it away. Okay, I went to go look up this card because in this deck, this is a very, very in-depth card. Obviously, the magician can also be very in-depth, which he's a stand-in for the magician, for the traditional magician, but I love this card. So I'm going to read a few of the phrases that caught my eye connected to this reading, okay? I'm not going to say the whole passage isn't important, but for this reading, a few things caught my eye. So number one, this shaman represents the mediation. He represents energies and levels of consciousness that defy human rationalization and are therefore deemed to be magic. And you show up as a King of Swords, which you're air, right? So that makes sense. It's like you need things to be logical. You need things to make sense. And the shaman represents the walker between worlds. It represents ancestral memory of wild animals. It represents the rituals and functions of a medicine man. This is not somebody who can explain to you the energy that they're sensing. And so you're struggling because you are ruled by your mind. And they're trying to pull you into a very different, a more primal, raw, earthy energy. Something else I want to say about something that caught my eye, it says, through inner workings and meditation, the shaman will bring insight and understanding of your true place in the world. Then, practical application and the manifestation of wisdom and willpower into your physical world is possible. This requires dedication, patience, and commitment, but it is the nature of real magic. And then it says, whatever awakens your desire to return to the wild, the shaman within you is ready for initiation into the mysteries. This may manifest itself in the form of a desire to study an esoteric science or philosophy and apply what you learn to the world. It may involve travel for the sake of gaining confidence and experience, but however the desire to begin a new spiritual chapter emerges, you are now in an emotional and intellectual position to bring forth real change in your life for the benefit of everyone. This process of focusing, mediating, and applying wisdom from the other world to everyday reality is the true work of the shaman. So, you're basically going to step into the world where there will be things you cannot explain. In fact, you may want to keep some of what you what you do to yourself, because you don't want to sound insane to other people. And maybe that's what you're worried about. You're worried that if you go down this path of shamanism, because this is a very shamanic path, I feel like I'm talking, again, to two groups of Libra. For some of you, it's about you manifesting a life partner. For others of you, it's about you stepping onto a very, very high vibrational shamanic path. And for others of you, it's both. So there's a third group, which is both. But this is very difficult because you are ruled by logic. You are ruled by what makes sense. And this does not make sense. Clarify the shaman. Five of Cups. Six of Cups. Oof, Ten of Swords. There you are again, King of Cups. Oh, you know what's so fantastical about this? You are already King of Cups. So remember when I said you are the in-between already? You've already kind of dabbled, because you see how his feet are in the water? You've already stepped into this world a little bit. The problem is that you did not persevere on this path, because you faced some sort of lesson, but the lesson, you only remember betrayal. Look, remember the Three of Swords. Here it is again. This is what you need to move on from. Whatever betrayal, whatever pain you experienced, you're holding on to that. So if somebody that you deeply cared for, that you deeply loved, called you crazy, called you delusional, called you something like that, you are struggling so much with that. You don't even realize how much this is dictating your behavior. So your guides are trying to get you. You see how this is somebody who's driving the boat for the other person while this one prays? Like your guides are trying to drive you towards facing this wound. Because there was a lesson there, but you're not paying attention to the lesson. You're just remembering the betrayal. Kind of like, okay, I'm going to use a different example. Let's say that this is a relationship that you went through, right? And you shared, this actually happened to me, so I'm going to share a personal experience. Let's say when I first started with tarot, I had a boyfriend who told me that what I was doing was basically cold reading people, and that's how I was getting the information in tarot. And I was like, that's not true, because I literally, why do I keep saying literally? I ask people to send me their date of birth, their name, and a picture of them, and I get all of the information that I need off of tarot. That's just to connect to their energy. And he kept trying to tell me that I was reading the picture. I'm like, no, I'm not, because sometimes they don't even send a picture. And I still pull in the energy I'm supposed to. So basically, he was low-key telling me that I was a scammer. And I've also had friends tell me that I'm a scammer. And that does hurt. It does. Because I know that what I do is difficult to explain, but I know that it's real. I mean, I see it every day. And for some of you, you're focused on like, how dare they tell me that? How dare they not believe me? How dare they hurt me when I know what I'm doing? When in reality, it was a lesson maybe on how to pick your partners better, how to make sure that you align with friends that are on the same path that you are so that they don't think that you're fucking insane or a psycho. There was a lesson there. But instead of persevering on this path, you only dipped your feet into it because you're like, no, I don't want to feel that pain again. I don't want people telling me that I'm insane or that I'm a psycho. And this is your current blockage. These memories of hurt, of betrayal. And you know who this is? In this deck, that's the King of Swords. You were made to feel like your intelligence was nothing, like your knowledge was nothing. And this is what you're holding on to. The loss, the sorrow, what that led to. And this is now your blockage. So whether you move on from this or not, only you decide, Libra, because you have your guides gently nudging you before you fall, you plunge into this arena. But it's up to you. It's up to you what you do, okay? So this is what I got for you. This is the collective for Libra. If you want to support, show you appreciate my time and energy, please make sure to drop below at least the emojis that are in the title. If not, if you want to share how this resonated with you, I would be honored to read that. I love you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.